Hello, fellow gamers! I am counting down 50 incredible, upcoming, and under-the-radar indie games that deserve a spot right at the top of your wish list. Whether you're looking for your next 100-hour obsession or a hidden gem to play this weekend, I've got something in here for everyone. Blackwell Devil, a stylish platformer that challenges you to ascend from the literal depths of hell. The core hook here revolves around a satisfying flick mechanic, where you launch yourself into the air to scale towering vertical environments. It has that intensely addictive loop where a single mistake can send you tumbling back down, but the incredibly responsive, fluid physics make the climb a joy to master. Alongside the nerve-wracking platforming, you will face off against punishing bosses, all wrapped in a striking visual style. And yes, amidst all the tense, vertical struggle, there's even the promise of finding love along the way. It is a brilliant mix of precision and dark charm. Ant Colony Wild Forest, a fascinating strategy game where you step into the regal, fragile role of an ant queen. Instead of directly controlling your units, your job is to build a thriving subterranean empire from the dirt up. You'll dig and design a sprawling underground dungeon, spawning specialized ant classes, upgrading your forces, and sending them out on massive raids. The ultimate goal on each map is total domination, destroying every enemy base in your path. But there's a catch. If your queen dies, it's game over. It's an incredibly tense balance of macro management and self-preservation, perfectly capturing the ruthless beauty of nature's tiny warriors. Cozy Marbles, a delightfully tactile physics sandbox that taps straight into childhood nostalgia. The game hands you a robust, freeform level editor and a massive toy box of pieces, loops, drops, boosters, and even cannons to design the ultimate marble run. What makes this title stand out is its wonderfully low-pressure, therapeutic vibe. There are no strict management mechanics or grueling failure states here. If a marble flies off the track, you don't panic. You simply adjust a ramp, tweak a booster, and try again. With its satisfying physics, crisp audio design, and warm aesthetics, it is the perfect game to boot up when you just want to unwind and watch the satisfying, rhythmic flow of marbles clicking and rolling down your custom creations. Vision Quench, a wonderfully messy online co-op dark fantasy adventure that feels like a fever dream in the best way possible. You and up to 3 friends are tasked with infiltrating the bizarre underbelly of a mega dungeon owned by a massive consumer goods conglomerate. To survive and climb your way to the top, you'll have to scavenge for cursed commodities, slam back fizzy energy drinks, and fend off both ancient monstrosities and modern capitalistic horrors using everything from morning stars to fireworks. With its surreal humor, reactive 3D voice chat, and brilliant mechanics, like turning into a plastic Freak-a-Pop toy when you die to help your living teammates, this is shaping up to be an absolute must-play with your gaming group. Shrimp Game OVERKRILL, an absolutely glorious, water-drenched, third-person looter shooter set in a decaying abyssal realm. You pilot a highly customizable, submersible, hydrodynamic research-integrated marine platform, magnificently abbreviated as a shrimp, to delve into the deep ocean. The depth here is impressive, allowing you to master 6 distinct elemental classes and combine them into dozens of devastating fusion abilities, like magma or bone, to take down Lovecraftian bosses and giant sea monsters. Whether you want to explore the sunken ruins in a disorganized 6-player co-op campaign or dive into PvP modes like Shrimp Royale to literally krill your friends, this game backs up its hilariously fishy premise with seriously deep, satisfying action. Orblins, a brilliant mashup that transforms the classic marble-shooting gameplay of Zuma and Luxor into a deeply addictive roguelike. Instead of just clearing lines, you're drafting powerful upgrades, managing endless marble varieties, and assembling game-breaking builds to defeat waves of mischievous Orblins and challenging bosses. The strategic depth is a real standout here. You can choose from a large cast of unique characters or completely forge your own custom class to tailor the run to your playstyle. It completely redefines a classic casual genre with modern, satisfying progression mechanics, making it one of those dangerous titles that will effortlessly erase hours of your evening. How to fish, which might sound like a calm, educational simulator, but it is actually a wonderfully chaotic, physics-based co-op adventure. The premise is brilliant. After a bit too much drinking and boating, you and up to 3 friends crash your boat into a small island. With no money and no way home, you have to learn how to fish to survive. However, learning how to fish in this game means catching, killing, and selling sea creatures using everything from standard fishing rods to literal assault rifles. You can then take your hard-earned cash to buy better gear, purchase properties, or even gamble it away for more money. It perfectly combines the fun of arcade angling with hilarious multiplayer physics and messy, action-packed mechanics. It's shaping up to be an absolute blast to play with a group of friends. Light Odyssey, a striking Souls-like boss rush that completely strips away the filler to focus purely on high-stakes, tactical combat. You play as Bandy, a lonely warrior fighting to restore light to a world consumed by oppressive shadows. The core of the game is its grueling encounters with towering colossi. Each colossal boss features 3 separate, increasingly deadly phases that demand absolute precision, patience, and rapid adaptation. You can't just button mash your way to victory. You have to study attack patterns, master your dodge timing, and exploit brief openings. With its gorgeous, high-contrast visual style and a haunting, atmospheric soundtrack, this is an absolute must-play for fans of Shadow of the Colossus and Titan Souls looking for a relentless test of skill. Mirage Miracle Quest, a beautifully vibrant, modernized, turn-based RPG and deck builder that infuses tactical strategy with unmistakable magical girl flair. You join a young heroine named Mirage on a thrilling journey to master her mystical powers, traveling alongside a memorable cast of companions. The game lets you deeply customize your playstyle by collecting and upgrading a vast array of magical cards, allowing you to chain together spectacular, flashy combinations in battle. What really elevates this title is its presentation. It is set in a splendid, hand-painted world that feels like an anime come to life. If you love deep deck-building mechanics wrapped in a heartwarming, stylish aesthetic, this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Sovereign Tower, a story-rich, round-table management RPG that puts you in the shoes of a magical tower's ruler. Your main goal is to recruit an eccentric roster of knights, assign them to dangerous quests, and carefully balance their competing egos to carve out your kingdom's destiny. But what makes this management sim so compelling is its time loop mechanic. If destiny doesn't go your way, you can keep turning back time, utilizing the knowledge you've gained to uncover dark secrets and rewrite fate again and again. It is a fascinating mix of political strategy, character management, and narrative puzzle solving that promises a massive amount of depth and replayability. Vale's Echo, a story-driven horror adventure that blends dark comedy, psychological storytelling, and a striking hand-drawn art style. You play as Vale, who wakes up on a train to nowhere with no pulse, no past, and no clue. In this strangely charismatic underworld, death is merely a backdrop to solving haunting, clever puzzles and navigating a branching narrative where your choices truly shape your final destination. Joining you on this trek is Echo, a floating, sarcastic skull full of secrets and mischief who assists you in overcoming obstacles Vale can't tackle alone. From cooking dinners for hungry hermits to bargaining with literal leeches, the game channels Major Fran Bow and Night in the Woods energy. It's an atmospheric, creepy journey about facing buried regrets that promises to stay with you long after the credits roll. Dung Slinger, an action-packed physics platformer with a hilariously unique premise. You are chained to a giant ball of dung. Do not let the theme fool you. Underneath the humor is a deeply rewarding, highly complex movement system. You have to master momentum, weight, and physics to swing, roll, and launch yourself across perilous gaps and over dangerous obstacles. The giant ball is both your greatest tool and your biggest hurdle, acting as a wrecking ball to defeat enemies or an anchor that can pull you down. It perfectly mixes tight traditional platforming challenges with unpredictable physics chaos, making every successful leap feel like a massive triumph. It is quirky, deep, and incredibly fun. Taste of Heaven, a delightful 2D cooking RPG sprinkled with a clever pinch of roguelite mechanics. You step into the shoes of a celestial chef assigned with mastering the culinary arts to satisfy the incredibly demanding palates of divine gourmets. The gameplay balances frantic, strategic recipe execution with exploration as you venture into a vibrant, ever-changing world to forage for rare ingredients and unlock hidden, mystical recipes. Outside the kitchen, the game shines with its deep social mechanics, allowing you to forge meaningful bonds with a charming and unforgettable cast of characters. With its gorgeous visual style and comfy yet engaging progression loop, it is a perfect recipe for fans of both management sims and cozy RPGs. Dog in the Machine, a highly tactical roguelite deck builder where your goal is to train a robotic auto dog and escape a grim, dystopian mecha city. The standout feature here is the stress-free combat design, which grants you real-time visual previews of your action. This allows you to carefully plan your moves, craft powerful modular attacks, and orchestrate massive, satisfying chain reactions to wipe out hordes of killjoy security robots. By removing the guesswork often found in tactical games, it shifts the focus entirely onto clever positioning, build synergy, and outsmarting your mechanical oppressors. It is a satisfyingly intellectual strategy game wrapped in a stylish sci-fi, and it's definitely one to watch. SacriFire, a promising upcoming RPG that feels like a beautiful love letter to classic 90s JRPGs while boldly forging its own path. You follow the journey of Ezekiel Ryden, a young priest struggling to keep his faith in a world caught in a devastating war between gods and demons. What instantly stands out is the game's presentation. It uses a gorgeous aesthetic that blends highly detailed 2D pixel art characters with lush 3D modeled environment. The combat engine is equally innovative, fluidly merging real-time action with tactical turn-based elements, letting you string together elaborate combos alongside your companion. With a complex story that aims to subvert traditional genre tropes and a sweeping soundtrack composed by industry legend Motoi Sakuraba, this is shaping up to be an absolute powerhouse of an indie RPG. Kill Your Darling, a brilliant and incredibly unique genre mashup developed by Stray Fawn Studio. The premise is brilliantly dangerous. The Royal Kingdom has thrown you into a brutal dungeon, forcing you to survive weekly gladiatorial combat. To make it out alive, you will have to manage your limited day-to-day schedule, balancing training and resource gathering with a very unorthodox strategy, dating your fellow inmate, who happen to be literal monsters. By building deep relationships with these monstrous cellmates, you unlock their unique abilities to fight right alongside you in the arena. It is an innovative blend of a time management sim, a dating RPG, and a tactical fighter. Because every single choice you make heavily impacts the dynamic narrative, no two escape attempts will ever play out the same way. It is witty, fresh, and absolutely bursting with dark charm. Glintseeker Island, a 2D pixel art mining exploration adventure that captures the pure joy of discovery. If you spent hours digging through the underground in classic Pokemon games or loved the mines in Stardew Valley, this is going to be right up your alley. Instead of just mindlessly holding down a button to smash rocks, mining here is an active, strategic minigame. You have to carefully break away specific layers of varying hardness to uncover ancient artifact and gemstone. Hit the wall too many times without being careful, and the entire structure collapses, burying your loot. You'll haul your treasures back to the surface to upgrade a massive arsenal of specialized hammers, manage a tight Resident Evil-style grid inventory, and prepare for tough boss fights every 10 floors. It is an incredibly satisfying gameplay loop wrapped around a genuinely intriguing mystery. Dreadmoor, a dark and deeply atmospheric first-person fishing adventure set in a bleak, submerged world that is slowly rotting away from a past catastrophe. This is definitely not a relaxing Sunday afternoon angling simulator. Instead, you will navigate incredibly murky waters to reel in strange catches, all while scraping together resources to upgrade your boat and craft essential survival gear. Danger is omnipresent. You aren't just fighting the elements, but also the horrific, monstrous creatures lurking both deep beneath the surface and along the desolate shoreline. It perfectly fuses the methodical, patient gameplay of fishing with survival horror element. For fans of games like Dredge who want a raw, gritty, first-person perspective of cosmic ocean dread, this looks remarkably compelling. Boost Vector, a high-octane, uncompromising parkour racing game that is built entirely around one core philosophy, going absolutely as fast as humanly possible. You take control of a Vector Master, sprinting through futuristic, gravity-defying track that demands split-second reflexes. The heart of the game lies in its highly responsive, flowing controls that let you chain together wall runs, slides, and boosts into a seamless, momentum-driven dance. As you hone your style and master the lines, you'll push your speed past its breaking point to compete against friends and climb the ranks in the intense Premier Vector World Cup. If you have a need for pure speed and love the thrill of shaving milliseconds off your lap times, this stylish racer is going to get your adrenaline pumping. Appulse, an intense top-down shooter roguelite that takes the chaotic energy of classic bullet hells and fuses it with the bouncing physics of a pinball machine. Instead of just spraying and praying, you have to master every single shot with absolute precision in the heat of battle. Your projectiles bounce and ricochet off surfaces, creating a wildly messy battlefield where you must protect your central mothership from relentless waves of invading alien robots. Between waves, you will conquer enemy spaceships, scavenge for parts, and upgrade your equipment to build a truly unstoppable arsenal. It is a brilliant mashup of arcade pinball mechanics and modern tactical roguelite progression that demands both fast reflexes and smart geometry. Altered Alma, an ambitious title from 2 awesome studios that fuses a classic metroidvania structure with deep RPG mechanics and a full-fledged dating sim, all wrapped in a stunning, neon-drenched package. The game drops you right into Neo Barcelona, a breathtaking, vertically massive cyberpunk cityscape realized through gorgeous, hyper-detailed pixel art. While you'll spend plenty of time mastering fluid, high-mobility combat and slicing through ruthless cybernetic syndicates, the game shines just as brightly when you step away from the battlefield. You can actively explore the city's rich culture, recruit unique crew members to your starship, and invest time in a deep relationship system where you can actually pursue romance with a fascinating cast of characters. It's a stylish, genre-bending adventure that perfectly balances action with heartfelt character work, making Neo Barcelona a world you'll want to get lost in. Wanderburg, a beautifully unique, minimalist, medieval action roguelike that completely flips the traditional horde survival genre on its head. Instead of controlling a lone warrior, you pilot a massive castle on wheels, roaming across procedurally generated landscape. Your goal is sheer growth. You plow through fields, devour entire enemy villages, and crush strongholds to gather resources and experience. As you expand, you get to build a deadly, highly modular arsenal of siege weapons, defensive structures, and arcane machinery directly onto your moving fortress. The latest update introduces a brand new desert map. This harsh, sand-swept biome upped the ante with shifting dunes, scarce survival resources, wind-sculpted corridors, and a whole new roster of deadly enemy variants specifically adapted to the desert heat. It adds a whole new layer of route optimization and environmental storytelling to an already incredibly satisfying gameplay. Deadboot, a blisteringly fast-paced retro roguelike FPS that drops you right into a neon death zone. Developed by Ultra Chaos Games, this title focuses entirely on aggressive momentum and quick thinking. The core philosophy here is simple. If it hurts, it's a weapon. You are encouraged to tear through highly randomized, neon-lit combat arenas, ripping weapons straight from the hands of your enemies, hurling heavy pipes and brick, and tossing your empty guns directly at the faces of incoming threats the moment they run dry. As you survive the gauntlet, you'll expand your kit with highly synergistic upgrades, unlocking abilities like devastating dual-wielding setup, explosive kicks, and double jumps to stay entirely out of harm's way. It is crunchy, incredibly brutal, and a perfect pick for boomer shooter and roguelike fans who crave non-stop, blood-pumping action. Deadly Days Roadtrip, the incredibly addictive reverse bullet hell roguelite from developer Pixel Split. If you loved the original game's post-apocalyptic charm, this standalone sequel puts you in the driver's seat of a big yellow school bus. Your mission? Embark on a dangerous, procedurally generated road trip across the zombie apocalypse, scavenging for precious fuel to keep moving and deciding the exact right moment to extract before the horde completely overwhelms you. The absolute highlight here is the brilliant grid-based inventory system inspired by Backpack Hero. Weapons and gear take up actual blocks in your backpack. Satisfyingly puzzling them together just right allows you to trigger adjacency bonuses, stacking massive elemental effect and creating completely broken projectile synergies. With a base camp to fill with over 10 eccentric survivors, including a guy in a banana suit and an incredibly deep meta progression tree, the 1.0 release polishes this bullet heaven fever dream into a definitive must-play. Ghost Vanguard, a high-energy beat-em-up that seamlessly fuses stylish, character-action combat with the unpredictable progression of a roguelite. You grip your sword and plunge into treacherous, pitch-black dungeons on a desperate quest to reclaim a fallen hero's stolen soul. The game shifts the emphasis away from simple button mashing and places it squarely on mastery, allowing you to string together magnificent, gravity-defying combos to juggle and annihilate the sinister forces lurking in the dark. Because of its roguelite backbone, every dungeon run alters your toolkit, forcing you to adapt your flashy playstyle to the unique upgrades and modifiers you discover along the way. It is a visually spectacular, satisfying brawler that gives you all the tools to look like an absolute badass while cleansing the underworld. Steam to Electric. If you loved the vibrant aesthetics of Station to Station, you definitely want this one on your list. From the creators of Town to City, Steam to Electric is an elegant voxel rail tycoon that hits that sweet spot between relaxing builder and deep management sim. You'll lay down track, optimize transport routes for passengers and cargo, and guide your network through the eras of rail travel. What really sets it apart is its focus on wild, real-world historical train inventions, giving you a fun slice of tech history as you upgrade from early steam engines all the way to modern electric line. It's accessible right out of the gate, but offers plenty of room for track optimization nerds to sink their teeth into. Meaningless random numbers. Incremental games usually offer a warm, dopamine-filled loop of watching numbers go up, but this next title turns that concept entirely on its head. Meaningless random numbers presents an unsettling blend of clicker mechanics and psychological horror. On the surface, your goal is simple: spin random number generators and farm cash. But beneath the hypnotic UI lies a creeping sense of dread. As you generate more money, strange phenomena begin to warp the experience because in this world, an omnipotent entity is closely watching your every move. It takes a seemingly innocent genre and twists it into a tense, surreal mystery that will constantly keep you on edge. Dupery, a game of solo deduction. If you enjoy social deduction games like Among Us or Town of Salem, but prefer playing alone, this noir-infused roguelite is tailor-made for you. Dupery plunges you into a shadowy city controlled by a ruthless criminal syndicate where everyone has a secret and absolutely no one can be trusted. Boasting an incredible lineup of over 200 separate roles, every run forces you to interrogate suspects, gather clues, and make critical arrests. The catch? One wrong move or faulty accusation will destroy your reputation and cost you the case. It takes the suspense of hidden role gameplay, strips away the need for a multiplayer lobby, and wraps it all up in a stylish, single-player detective package. Bandwagon. If you're looking for a vibrant twist on the action roguelite genre, this title brings a refreshing wave of charm and rhythm. Bandwagon is an open-world survivor's light adventure that swaps out dark, gritty battlefields for a colorful mission of spreading pure musical joy. In a world consumed by bad moods and general grumpiness, you take on the role of a traveling conductor aiming to turn things around. You'll roam across vast landscapes, recruiting a diverse troupe of quirky musicians, each bringing their own distinct sounds and combat abilities to your ever-growing ensemble. As you drive off hordes of sour grumps with auto-firing musical attack, you'll complete fun quests for an eccentric cast of characters, rebuild settlements, and harmonize your crew to create ultimate synergistic builds. It's a bright, feel-good survival game that blends chaotic horde battling with heartwarming exploration. Lost in the Roots is a haunting 2D story-driven adventure that delves deep into psychological horror and emotional unrest. Lost in the Roots places you in the fragile shoes of a young girl who awakens trapped inside a dusty attic in a completely isolated, unfamiliar house. With no memory of how she arrived, you are forced to piece together the unsettling mystery behind her abduction, answering not just who took her, but what dark motivations lie beneath her confinement. As you navigate the tense, shadow-drenched environment, the boundaries between reality and subconscious nightmare begin to blur. Eerie forces stalk the corridors, and every step forward forces you to confront heavy themes of guilt and fear. It pairs classic adventure puzzle solving with a claustrophobic, unsettling narrative where true escape feels tragically out of reach. It looks to be an absolute must-play for fans of dark, atmospheric thrillers. Glory on Pluto. If you love watching big numbers explode across your screen in games like Balatro, Glory on Pluto is going to be right up your alley. Published by Yogscast Games, this fast-paced space roguelite tasks you with constructing the ultimate rocket engine to launch your ship out of orbit toward Pluto. Instead of traditional cards, your ship's circular engine is packed with quirky fuel types, crew members, and segment modifier. The real twist? The engine's middle ring shifts and rotates randomly before every boost. A setup that gave you massive speed on one turn might build up extreme heat on the next, throttling your thrusters if you don't adapt on the fly. It captures a wonderfully chaotic rhythm of delicate mechanical planning collapsing into total, glorious, improvisational space travel. Expendabots. Are you and your friends can't get enough of extraction games? Expendabots looks like a fantastic new addition to the rotation. This 4-player cooperative horror experience drops you into ever-changing, procedurally shifted island environments loaded with rich secrets and terrifying threats lurking around every corner. Playing as a team of expendable units, your squad must infiltrate abandoned facilities, gather valuable loot, and navigate treacherous terrain where stealth is often far safer than direct confrontation. The tension never lets up, as the island itself grows increasingly hostile the longer you stay. You'll need to coordinate carefully, scavenge efficiently, and get to the extraction point before the whole zone is lost along with your crew. It looks to bring a great mix of intense co-op action, eerie sci-fi atmospheres, and chaotic emergent moments. Code 9. Taking detective mechanics in a fascinating new direction, Code 9 is a sci-fi detective adventure that refuses to hold your hand. You play as an investigator brought back from the dead by fusing with a dangerous, hostile entity known as Clara. Now working off your debt to the Resistance, you are dropped into intricate crime scenes devoid of hand-holding quest markers or artificial objective prompts. What makes this title stand out is its innovative deduction system. Rather than selecting pre-scripted dialogue or multiple choice options, you must type out your own conclusions in your own words based on the clues you've pieced together. From there, you'll engage in high-intensity interrogations, picking apart testimonies to expose lies and break down suspects. It's a grounded, cerebral mystery that demands true critical thinking. Grab. Coming from harebrained schemes, the talented team behind the acclaimed Shadowrun trilogy comes Grab, an atmospheric survival horror RPG set on the Ark ship Craighead, a sprawling, continent-sized space station slowly rotting from within. As this giant ship dies around you, your ultimate goal is simple: escape by any means necessary. To survive the nightmare, you'll need to tear parts off fallen enemies, ancient machinery, and even monstrosities to graft onto your own body. Upgrading yourself isn't just about raw stats, though. Every grafted piece carries lingering fragments of its original host's memories and personality, subtly shifting who you are as you plunge deeper into the depth. Paired with dark isometric visuals, a haunting synthesizer soundtrack, and rich narrative choices, it crafts a deep sci-fi experience that fans of visceral body horror won't want to miss. Shipping Store Simulator 2037. If you get a secret thrill out of satisfying organization and management sims, Shipping Store Simulator 2037 brings a futuristic spin to the genre. Set in the sunny town of Cranelock, this title puts you in complete control of a high-tech logistics hub, assigning you with building the ultimate package pickup empire. Gameplay seamlessly bridges micromanagement and hands-on operational work. On one end, you'll recruit and manage a team of helper robots to process incoming orders, handle inventory, and dispatch high-speed drones for automated aerial deliveries. On the other, you can jump right into the driver's seat of your delivery truck to personally make time-sensitive drop-offs around town. Balancing facility upgrades, automation, and physical deliveries creates an addictive, fast-paced workflow that promises to turn delivery logistics into pure simulator bliss. Wreck Runners, a physics-based cooperative extraction game designed for crews of 2 to 4 players. Set in the bizarre, anomaly-filled waters of the Bermuda Triangle, your main vessel is the Orca, a versatile, all-terrain utility craft capable of flying, driving across land, and diving underwater. Together with your crew, you'll embark on dangerous missions to scour sunken wreck, gather valuable scrap, and defend against unpredictable environmental hazard. The physics engine adds a chaotic layer of hilarity to every run, forcing you to carefully manage power distribution, repair damage on the fly, and coordinate your movements during escape. Between runs, you can spend your hard-earned loot to upgrade your gear, customize your craft, and unlock stylish cosmetics. It offers a great mix of teamwork and satisfying extraction progression. John Gleep. If you're in the mood for pure absurdity, this next title is definitely one to keep on your radar. John Gleep is an intergalactic action roguelike mashup about a tiny alien facing enormous, life-destroying problem. His grand cosmic casino business is a complete flop. He owes an entire galaxy worth of debt to the space mob, and his marriage is falling apart. To turn things around, you'll pilot your ship across the stars, landing on alien worlds to forcibly abduct unsuspecting gamblers and drag them back to your casino casino floor to boost revenue. Between top-down action encounters, you'll manage your casino, upgrade your gear, and attempt to resolve John's deeply comical personal life. It pairs wild bullet hell-style gameplay with dark comedy, making for a ridiculously fun, high-energy roguelite experience that doesn't take itself too seriously. The Mermaid Mask. From SFB Games, the talented developers behind Tangle Tower and Crow Country, comes The Mermaid Mask, a handcrafted point-and-click mystery centered on a bizarre, locked room murder. Captain Mortuga has been found dead beside an ancient, mystical cauldron deep inside the world's strangest submarine, surrounded by a crew full of eccentric, untrustworthy suspects. You play as Detective Grimoire and Sally, stepping aboard to untangle a web of lies, decipher cryptic clues, and solve tricky environmental puzzles. The signature hand-drawn art style shines once again, blending vibrant character animations with sharp, witty dialogue that keeps every interrogation engaging. If you're a fan of rich narrative snooping, clever puzzle design, and charming voice acting, this submarine detective adventure is shaping up to be an absolute must-play. Imagine Sisyphus happy, taking Albert Camus' classic philosophical essay and mashing it up with modern internet culture. Imagine Sisyphus happy turns eternal labor into viral entertainment. This story-rich blend of streamer simulator, incremental game, and skill-based minigames asks a simple question. What if pushing a giant boulder up a hill was live-streamed to thousands of viewers? Your goal is to build an online audience while hauling heavy rock up an endless slope. You'll perform trick maneuvers, upgrade your stats, and manage chat engagement to gain followers and income. But behind the humor and absurdity lies a thoughtful narrative about burnout, the spectacle of online content creation, and finding personal meaning in endless repetition. With customizable boulders, quirky unlockable struggles, and an inventive core loop, it offers a surprisingly deep and funny commentary on modern digital life. Everwind, The First Ascent. If you're looking for a fresh spin on cooperative open-world survival, Everwind brings a brilliant airborne concept to the first-person perspective. Set in a world shattered into floating landmasses, you and your friends take to the skies to explore mysterious, uncharted ruins scattered above the cloud. Rather than building a stationary base on the ground, your primary home and sanctuary is a fully customizable flying island ship. You'll construct facilities directly onto your floating vessel, craft survival gear, gather rare resources from drifting islands, and defend your craft from hostile creatures. The game mixes the satisfaction of building and resource management with risky exploration and combat, encouraging team coordination as you navigate perilous weather systems and uncover ancient secrets buried high in the stratosphere. Hellslave 2, Judgment of the Archon. The dark fantasy dungeon crawler returned, taking the grim and brutal atmosphere of the original to an absolute whole new level. Hellslave 2 picks up as the forces of heaven grow tired of the eternal demon war, sending down the terrifying Archon to cleanse the earth and eradicate humanity along with the demonic horde. To survive the coming purge, you must once again forge dark pacts, selling your soul to demon lords in exchange for otherworldly power. Featuring overhauled, visceral combat visuals, much deeper skill trees, and highly customizable character builds, every excursion into its atmospheric dungeons feels like a desperate fight for survival. If you love deep, strategic, turn-based combat wrapped in a heavy, gothic metal aesthetic, this sequel promises a far more immersive and unforgiving RPG journey than ever before. Grobnopolis, Last Days. If you crave heavy dread that relies on slow-burning psychological tension over quick jump scares, this next title is one to watch. Grobnopolis is a slow, oppressive first-person horror experience set in the decaying industrial city of Huda Grobno. The sun has vanished, the sky is choked with toxic clouds, and the surrounding mines are seeping something far worse than coal. As you navigate the desolate, brutalist streets during the final days of a collapsing world, your curiosity becomes both your primary guide and your greatest hurt. You'll tune into forbidden radio frequencies, uncover cryptic lore hidden within rotting apartments, and piece together the tragic downfall of a doomed population. Its bleak visual aesthetic, heavy ambient sound design, and focus on environmental storytelling make for an intensely unsettling journey through a world gasping its final suffocating breath. Wildaria. If you love creature-collecting RPGs like Pokemon or Pow World, but want something wrapped in a charming, pixel art open world, Wildaria is definitely worth checking out. Set in an infinite, procedurally generated fantasy realm, this action-adventure title gives you the freedom to explore, quest, trade, and build your ultimate team of companions. What makes it stand out is its core mechanic. Virtually every single creature you encounter can be tamed and trained. You can ride your newly befriended beasts across sprawling landscape, harness their unique abilities in fast-paced, real-time combat, and take on formidable bosses known as the Animal God. Whether you're leveling up your favorite mount, completing quests for local townsfolk, or discovering hidden biomes, it offers an incredibly expansive sandbox experience filled with endless discovery and charm. Cathedral, Crow's Curse. Fans of challenging retro action adventures will want to keep a close eye on this next entry. Set within the same dark, sprawling universe, Cathedral, Crow's Curse delivers a standalone prequel story with its own separate visual identity and gameplay feel. Taking a prequel approach, the narrative explores the tragic events leading up to the original title, dropping you into a rich, detailed fantasy world filled with dangerous ruins and hidden secrets. The core focus here is tight, highly responsive combat that heavily rewards skill and precision. You'll need to master quick dodges, timed parries, and lethal counterattack to overcome swarms of ruthless enemies and massive boss encounter. With its emphasis on rewarding exploration, intricate world design, and fluid combat mechanics, it promises to be a thrilling ride for both returning fans and newcomers alike. Planted. If you're looking for a hilarious new couch co-op brawler to ruin friendships over, Planted brings high-energy chaos straight to the backyard. Designed for up to 4 players, this fast-paced combat game turns peaceful garden plots into full-blown arenas where your green thumb is the deadliest weapon on the field. The core gameplay loop revolves around a simple yet frantic rule set: sow, grow, and throw. You'll race across shifting dynamic maps to plant seeds, nurture your crop, and harvest wild, living weaponry, from explosive veggies to aggressive, snapping flora. Once harvested, you'll hurl, shoot, and swing your homegrown arsenal at rival gardeners to knock them out of the ring. With easy-to-pick-up controls, chaotic physics, and endless opportunities for petty revenge, it delivers a delightful party experience where every harvest is a struggle for survival. Nailcrown. If you missed the golden age of retro FPS titles, Nailcrown is here to scratch that itch with an aggressive, bloody vengeance. This savage dark fantasy shooter throws subtle tactical play out the window in favor of high-velocity gunplay, brutal melee combat, and relentless, adrenaline-fueled action. Stepping into a dark, oppressive fantasy world, you are pitted against massive hordes of accursed monstrosities that require lightning-fast reflexes to tear through. You'll wield a lethal, visceral arsenal, ripping enemies apart with a dynamic gore system that paints the environment red as you move. With tight, fluid movement, heavily atmospheric level design, and an old-school ethos, it delivers a fast, violent, and uncompromising ride for players who love pure retro chaos. Being and Becoming is a captivating metroidvania set in a decaying fantasy world held together by the collective dream of thousands of fallen martyrs. You awaken into a realm trapped on the brink of ruin, where fate itself is written by an ominous prophecy known as the Word. Your journey focuses on fluid exploration, tight combat, and defying a preordained fate. As you navigate interconnected, hauntingly beautiful environments, you'll clash with tragic bosses and absorb their lingering echoes to expand your abilities. Rather than following the path set before you, you must alter your own narrative thread or risk becoming just another puppet bound to a terrifying cosmic revelation. With its stark, expressive art style, deep lore, and rewarding traversal, it promises an unforgettable experience for fans of surreal Metroidvanias. Glasshouse is a deep, narrative-driven RPGs like Disco Elysium, an interesting title you'll want on your list. Set in a bleak, feudal punk universe on the brink of a massive world war, this CRPG traps you inside a tightly surveillance-heavy apartment block placed under sudden lockdown. When a grisly triple murder occurs right next door, you're thrust into a tangled web of political conspiracies, ideological clashes, and apartment politics. Gameplay blends tactical turn-based combat with intense dialogue-driven investigation. You'll need to gather clues, interrogate your erratic neighbors, and manage internal flatmate tension. In this intense pressure cooker, every decision matters. If you hesitate to make the hard choices, your fellow residents will make them for you, carrying drastic consequences for everyone involved. Cosmo Tales delivers a fresh spin on spacefaring adventures. This third-person action adventure mixes the iconic, colorful aesthetic of 1970s sci-fi with slick, modern visuals and responsive, high-energy gameplay. Taking on the role of an interstellar traveler, navigating the far reaches of outer space, your primary weapon and survival tool is a dimension-shifting ability. This core mechanic lets you instantly warp between alternate realities on the fly, altering your surroundings to solve tricky environmental platforming puzzles, outmaneuver hazardous terrain, and gain the upper hand in fast-paced combat encounters. By combining classic sci-fi tropes, a distinct visual flair, and clever reality-bending action mechanics, it promises a stylish and dynamic journey through the cosmos. Kick. Bringing a pure dose of childhood nostalgia, Kick turns a simple morning walk into an adrenaline-fueled athletic journey. This physics-driven platformer captures the classic boyhood urge to kick a soccer ball down the sidewalk, expanding that simple concept into an intricate test of precision and timing. As you make your way to school, you'll need to continuously bounce, trick, and launch your soccer ball through increasingly tricky levels packed with unique obstacles. The gameplay demands sharp reflexes as you bounce off parked cars, loop over dynamic street hazards, and navigate urban rooftops without ever letting the ball hit the dirt. With its charming aesthetic, easy to learn, yet hard to master ball physics, and inventive arcade challenges, it turns every single commute into a skill-based marathon. That wraps up my latest roundup of upcoming indie games. Which of these games is going straight to your wish list? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the best upcoming releases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.